Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olaleko Amusa, the founder of Just for Women Africa. Today on the show, we have with us Vanessa Jan. Vanessa is the CEO and founder of Modern Day Mom. She's also the daughter to well-known celebrity known as Kiki Jan of Osibisa Group. She'll be talking to us about being an entrepreneur. She'll also be talking to us about her father, Kiki Jan, and of course, anything that comes up during the conversation. So stick around and we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, welcome back to Just for Women Africa. We have us Vanessa. Vanessa, you're welcome to Just for Women Africa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for reaching out.
You're welcome. It's lovely having you here on the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. All right, Vanessa, let's start off by talking about your father, Kiki, who was part of Osibisa. When you sit down in your quiet moments, what do you think about your father?
You know, my father was an amazing man, an amazing musician, so selfless and so creative. And he definitely knew what he wanted when it came to, his career and using his talent as a gift to the world.
Reports say that you didn't meet your father until later on in life. Could you tell us what was the experience like when you first met your father in person?
So I was quite young. I think 8 or 9. That's when my grandmother passed away, and I was back in Ghana for her funeral. And it was one of those moments where you're young, so he wasn't. I was raised with my mom, so I knew my mom. So seeing my dad in person for the first time was like, wow, he was beyond overjoyed. But like I said, I was really young, but it was a moment that I won't forget. It was at my auntie's house in Kanishi, because they lived in Kanishi at the time. And it was one of those moments that I won't forget, because that was my first and my last time seeing him in person.
What kind of conversation did you have your dad when you first met him? Did you have a lengthy conversation?
No, because I was young, 8 years old. You can't really have too much, as a child. But it was, I think for him it was more like this feeling of, wow, my daughter. I'm his only child. So it was one of those, like, just be in the moment type of moments.
Okay, but did you get to talk to him after that, after meeting him for the first time?
After that was the funeral, and then we came back to New York, and then after that, no, I was speaking to my auntie Gugi. That's my dad's sister. We kept in contact more, and then when I was going to return back to Ghana as an adult, where we would have had a better conversation, that's when he passed away.
Condolences about your father. But where were you when you found out he passed away, and how did you take it?
I was in New York. I was in university at the time, but I was home. I had just come from classes, and my mom called me because she was informed first. And I was hurt, because that was the year that I wanted to return back to Ghana and meet him on a different level, in a different circumstance, in the sense that I'm an adult. So I was hurt. I was really, really hurt. Yes.
Your father was a great musician. He did a lot of music and stuff like that. What do you think about his music? And it's still being played, around the world. It's used in movies and all. When you think about that, what do you think?
It just speaks of the talent that he was. That years later, decades later, his music is still being loved worldwide. And like you said, it's been in movies, and even up until today, we get emails of producers that would love to use his music, and of course they have to get permission. And yeah, like, even when I search his name on Twitter and see the tweets of people loving 24 Hours in a Disco, it's just a feeling of wholeness, because he was a talent. He was a great talent. And you have to be a legend for your music to continue to live on day after day, year after year, decades after decades.
Well said. Your father is really an inspiration to everybody. I mean, thinking of Kiki Jan is really, really, really lovely. Okay, so let's move away from that and let's talk about something else. You're a mother, You recently gave birth to your second child. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So could you talk to us? What's the experience about being a mother? I mean, what have you learned over the years?
Honestly, I love motherhood. Anyone who knows me knows I love being a mom. I never knew what motherhood would be like when I had my first 6 years ago, but it's been the greatest job that I've ever had. Yeah, it's not easy. You know, we have very tough days as mothers, but I always say that like I like to grab onto the good days. So when the not so good days happen, I remember, you know what? There's bigger and better moments. And I always say that my support system has been incredible. When people say, V, you make motherhood look so easy, like you just are breezing. I'm like, listen, I cannot do it without the support, you know? The support has been like incredible. I always say I'm just truly, truly blessed.
Could you tell us about one of the not so good days of being a mother and how did you handle it?
I think for me was mommy guilt. And, you know, when it comes to my firstborn, he's 6 now. I've always been hands on. Everyone knows, like, I don't miss anything. Like, my schedule, I'm blessed to have a schedule that I'm able to take him to school, pick him up, go to parent teacher meetings. And there was a time more recently, I had to be at a TV station at 5 a.m. So I knew that day I would not be able to take him to school. And that was one of the rare days. And I just felt so bad because not only couldn't I take him to school, I couldn't pick him up from school. And then I had to be on radio that evening. It was International Women's Day. And I just felt like I had missed out on so much that day. And my feelings were hurt. But then I had to remind myself and give myself grace because I'm actually a hands-on mom. I'm there 24/7. So one day isn't going to, you know, hurt anybody.
Definitely, one day wouldn't hurt anybody. Okay, you did mention about being on radio. You moved back to Ghana some years back, and you've been around since then, but currently you're not in the country. What has your experience been like moving back to Ghana?
Okay, so funny enough, last week was 10 years since I relocated back to Ghana, which it's insane because to be honest, Ghana wasn't on my map. Ghana wasn't on my vision. You know, I'm a New York City girl. I'm still a very much New York City girl. I love the hustle and bustle, the fast life. That's all I've known. But making the decision to move back to Ghana, funny enough, was one that I didn't question. At the time, I worked in the media space here. I have a degree in TV, radio, communications, and PR. I felt like I had gained so much experience here. So why not take it back to Ghana? My first job, as soon as I landed, I landed in August. I started working at ETV that November, October. And from then it's been like, you know, an incredible journey. But for me, it was more about bringing something fresh, to the industry, something new. All that I had gained here, I wanted to, you know, bring it back home to see how else we could build our media space, specifically TV and radio.
All right. I mean, being on TV and radio, I mean, that brought you to the limelight and all. Could you tell us what are some of the things, you know, you did not like, you know, being back in Ghana? I mean, you lived in New York all your life. Definitely there's some things to think about in Ghana and go to like, oh my God, are Ghanaians like that? Or, you know, you wish things could be better. They could do this and that.
I think, you know, the system is still a bit slow in general. So that kind of drags me at times. But I feel like in the media space, I don't think they realize how much revenue can be brought in. People are going on TV, spending their days on TV and radio, and they're not getting the income they deserve. That is something that I'm just like, I wish I could open a station and try to push and try to give people what they actually deserve. Because the people in the media space deserve so much more than they are accepting and that they are being given. And that's something that we really need to work on.
Have you worked in the media space in Ghana, I mean, over the last 5-6 years, if I'm right? Who are the kind of people you look up to in the media space in Ghana and go like, oh, they're doing such an amazing job. You look up to them and you want to be like them.
So I always say no one should want to be like anyone. Be like yourself, but like you can be inspired. And I think one person, and she's one of my very good friends, is Peace Hyde. Peace Hyde is just phenomenal. She is also a returnee. She moved back, I think, that around the same time I did. I didn't know her. We've gained a friendship over the years, but just seeing the woman that she has become, like the mogul, I'm always like, peace, you are doing the damn thing. And behind the scenes, I always give her flowers. I have a reality TV show. She has one. Hers is on Netflix. She's doing the damn thing. So I am so inspired in the sense of just to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing, because I must be doing something right, to be where I am. But Peace Hyde, give her flowers. She is amazing.
Right. Bigs up to Peace High. I mean, she's watching the interview right now. Wait, being a celebrity, I mean, being on, radio now, what kind of stories have you heard about yourself and go like, where did they get that story from?
Right. There's just been one or two. I don't even think about them anymore, because I just see it as that people, regardless of what you do, when you're a public figure, people are going to talk, people are going to make up stories, people are going to add their own to it. So the couple that have come out, I've always looked at it and just side-eyed and not been bothered, because they're far from the truth. Far from the truth, yeah. So I don't even let them bother me, because they're not the truth.
Could you just tell us one or two stories you heard?
Let's see. Which one do I want to bring up? Because I don't want people to start tweeting about anything and reminding them. I think this one was crazy. When I got laid off,
Okay.
from EIB, they were doing like a mass layoff, and someone told me that, I was laid off because I wasn't putting in the work. That was something that was wild. And I'm like, I was hosting 3 radio shows at the time. I had my own TV show that I was doing everything for, producing, directing. So I was wowed by that, because if anyone knows my work ethic, they know that I work very hard for everything that I have.
Okay. All right, Vanessa. Okay, so let's move away from the entertainment world and let's talk about being an entrepreneur and having run, Modern Day Mom. Could you tell us about Modern Day Mom? What is it exactly about, and when did it start?
So Modern Day Mom is a motherhood hub. It actually started right as the pandemic was about to kick off. And I just wanted it to be a safe haven for moms. Our kids were all home. We didn't know what was happening in the world. So I just wanted something that would keep everyone sane. And that's when I started Modern Day Mom. And we started with like happy hour online. Like, it was so cool. Like Zoom happy hour. And then I was interviewing moms from all around the world. And that's how it started. And that's how it kicked off. And that was during the pandemic. And since then, we've just continued to grow in our own little mommy space. We recently had a brunch for Mother's Day, Modern Day Mom brunch, where I just let the moms come and just have a day for themselves. We sipped on wine, we had great conversation, we ate great food. We recently launched the podcast, which is the first of its kind mummy focused podcast from Ghana, 100% mummified, where we touch on like different topics. So in general, Modern Day Mom is it's a safe haven hub for moms, a non-judgmental zone.
And what have you learned being as an entrepreneur so far?
It's a lot. It's a lot. Last year I opened the Modern Day Mom, Modern Day Toddler boutique in East Legon, after years of just, selling from the house. And that's when the real reality sat in, like, wow, this is a lot. But I always say that anything I do, I have a purpose for it. So even on the hard days, I will make sure the good days are better. So even on the days where we've made 0 CDs, I'm like, you know what? tomorrow will be a better day.
Having run a modern day mom and you have a podcast, what are sort of the issues that mothers go through in Ghana or globally?
Oh my gosh, what I think in Ghana is this silencing, right? So you're going through something, but you're scared to talk about it because someone is going to judge you. And that's what I love about my platform is that, like I said, it's a non-judgmental zone. No matter what you're going through, we are there for you to even just listen. And I think that's one of the biggest issues in our society is the silencing of women. And women are so afraid to talk about their issues.
Why are women afraid to talk about the issues?
Because they feel like they'll be judged. You know, they feel like maybe they're the only one going through it. But when it comes to motherhood in general, we are all going through it. When you talk to another mom, you'll realize, oh my gosh, we are literally living the same lives in different homes. Yeah. So, you know, that's why it's just when I had my brunch, that was something that a lot of the moms said. They said they were so happy that they were able to just be. And that is just so important for me as a mom and making sure I give that experience to other mothers.
Women around the world feel that it's a man's world and they feel they get, sexually harassed, starting off a business they don't have the money to and all that. What's your advice to women all around the world who are watching and feel, the hustle and bustle of being a woman?
Listen, let me tell you, when I started, let's just say the boutique, I started this was my example. I didn't have the upfront cash for everything, right? When I started selling from the house, I would have mothers pre-ordering. So they were sending their monies and then I would start buying the stuff. Obviously you put your percentage on top. But for me, I feel like, listen, there is nothing in this world that as a woman, if you want it, you can't have it by putting in the work. I have built this brand by myself since the beginning, and that's because I know what I want for the future. I knew it wouldn't be easy moving back to Ghana. I was making 500 CDs a month. This is someone who was making dollars, okay? 500 CDs a month back in 2013, 2014. But I sucked it up, and there were days I cried. There were days I took trotro because money is I'm using all my savings from the States, and 500 CDs, what's that gonna do? People don't eat. I took trotro for a couple of months. I hustled, but I knew that I was doing it for a greater purpose. So if you see what you want, you just have to stay on path. And I always say your support system should be strong. Even if it's one person, your support system, someone that will say, don't worry. It's okay to have a bad day. I know today is not a perfect day. Tomorrow is another day. You got to keep going. You need that support system to get to where you want to get to. But do not think that as a woman, you cannot put in the work by yourself to get to where you need to get to. The men are living in our world, by the way. So yeah. But at the same time, I always say that just because, we are now we're so independent doesn't mean that we should dismiss the fact that, men also are doing their part. I think we need to respect both ends, to just continue to keep rising.
Definitely, we need to respect both ends to keep rising, and a support system is very important for a woman. Yeah. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for being with us on the show. We look forward to interviewing again in the future. We wish you all the best. Congratulations on your baby.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And to our viewers who are watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, tell a friend who knows a friend about Just Women Africa. And from Vanessa and I, it will be bye.
Bye, guys.